Ball, 20-minute time limit. Introducing first the man in the fatigue pants, the unorthodox style of the Libyan. And he's quickly brought down to the mat by Jumpin' Joe Savoldi as they waste little time in starting action in this first match. My name is Peter Burkholz, along with promoter Paul Bosch, who will be helping me with the blow-by-blow description. Carl Ferg is your referee. And once again, Paul, Jumpin' Joe Savoldi, a great contrast in styles.
Certainly a great contrast, because this man looks like the original Joe Savoldi, who came into prominence back about 1932. But you got to remember, his father was also world's junior heavyweight champion, Joe Savoldi's father, so he has good background, solid credentials to present against any man, even a man as big as the Libyan.
Well, Jumpin' Joe Savoldi turned in an impressive victory a couple weeks ago when he wrestled here last in the same Eastern Coliseum up against Gustavo Mendoza. And he's quickly becoming a big crowd favorite.
The leg dive worked well, and now he comes in here to make good use of the foot to try to bruise the thigh, and that, of course, always slows the man up. The Libyan, for a big man, is fast. He knows what to do in the ring, and there are a lot of people who would like to see it done to him.
Jumpin' Joe Savoldi drove both those knees in the inside of the thighs as he continues to try to keep the Libyan off balance. I'd like to invite you to stay tuned, because bigger and better Houston wrestling, 2 hours strong right here on Channel 39 Gold. And for those of you who be watching this weekend at our new time, I'd like to remind you that we're back to our regular time next weekend, Saturday nights 10 p.m. till midnight, Sunday mornings from 10 a.m. till noon.
We might remind them, too, that wrestling will be on Sunday. The next time it's at the Coliseum, Sunday, the 21st of September at 7 o'clock.
It'd be a super Sunday in September for sure.
And Joe Savoldi showed good presence there and good balance when he tossed him over, and the Libyans claimed that he was pulled by the hair. The trunks just doesn't work, because Savoldi couldn't throw that much weight by grabbing him by the trunks.
I'd like to encourage all wrestling fans out there to stay tuned, because later on this program you're going to see one of the most exciting Lumberjack matches ever between Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase up against Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts of the Freebirds. That's later on this program. Also, you will see a mixed match that features the missing link in Dark Journey up against Hollywood, John Tatum and Missy Hyatt. All this and much, much more later on in this program right here on 39 Gold.
Savoldi gets up slowly from that body slam, as well he might, because body slams take it out of you. They take it out of your body. They make you gasp for breath. They make it hard to breathe. And, of course, there's always the possibility of an injury that's going to come from the fall itself, besides the accumulation of punishment.
Well, the Libyan displaying some of his strength there. He doesn't have a well-defined upper physique, but he's got a lot of powerful strength in that upper body. He has an unorthodox style. Once again, he tried to pick him on that crotch hold, but Jumpin' Joe Savoldi, using that quickness and agility that's one of his main assets, almost was able to pull the 1-2-3.
A little too much weight. A little too much weight underneath. It's hard to hold that much down when it's doubled up, like coiling up a spring. And the Libyan was able to use those strong legs of his to throw him off. Savoldi learned something of that move. And, well, he might learn something, because he is the kind of a wrestler that uses his head, and learned something, I think, in every match he's been in.
Houston Wrestling returns to St. Eastern Coliseum on Sunday, September 21st at 7 p.m. A great lineup of matches have already been signed, and people are talking about that big UWF heavyweight title showdown between One Man Gang and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Two big, rugged individuals battling head-on for a big prize.
There's a twisting arm lock, and he's working around to keep the pressure against the elbow so that it keeps the arm straight. But the Libyan made the move and caught it beautifully on the chin, and Savoldi was ready for the arm takedown. Did it well.
Very well. And Jumpin' Joe Savoldi, a well-conditioned athlete, and that's one reason he's able to keep moving inside the ring. He knows that's one of his biggest assets in his wrestling capabilities, and he plans to stay in top condition so he can take the battle right to him. He's done a good job at keeping the Libyan off balance. We've seen when the Libyan's on his feet and he's got that rugged, unorthodox style, that's when he's able to punish his opponents. Jumpin' Joe Savoldi hasn't given him that opportunity to unleash his attack yet.
Now he turns it into an on stretch, and as he puts both those feet up against the Libyan, he's able to work the pull that pulls against the muscles and the tendons in the shoulder, and I have seen shoulders dislocated in that very same move that he's employing right there.
So we're just past the 5-minute mark in this match between Jumpin' Joe Savoldi and the Libyan. As the Libyan trying to find the safety of the ropes, as he's unable so far to find the key to unlocking this arm stretch by Jumpin' Joe Savoldi. And Jumpin' Joe Savoldi's doing a good job of adding that extra emphasis to the hold.
Well, you saw him reach out there with that foot. The Libyan reached out with the foot and found the rope. And as he waited for the referee to break it, but it's all in the referee's judgment as to whether that foot over the rope is earned or whether it is going to interfere with the action. He can call it or not call it, and in this case, Carl Fergie decided on not calling it.
And pleasing the big crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum as the crowd gets behind, keeping track every time Savoldi pulls that arm out another inch. And there's 10.
Our fans can count.
They sure can, and Jumpin' Joe Savoldi has the support of the Houston wrestling fans, and that's for sure. Joining us up here at the platform now is a busy young man, Bruce Pritchard, who's our local event coordinator, and Bruce has some exciting news for organizations.
Well, thank you very much, Pete. That's right. I'd like to tell all the fans out there that are involved in nonprofit groups and organizations, all you Civic Club leaders, the JCs and local band boosters, that we would like to come on out to your local high school gyms and put on the same matches that you see right here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. The same stars that you see on TV can come to your local high school gyms and your organizations to help you raise those much-needed funds for your organization. Some of the great successes that we've had in the past include El Campo, Texas, just last week. Raised a lot of money for that organization. Tenaha, Navasota, Texas, and we'll be back. And we'd also like to ask all those high schools here in the Houston area, like J. Frank Dobie High, A. Lee Hastings High School. If you'd like to have a fundraiser, give us a call. We'll have the information later on in this program.
Thank you very much, Bruce. And back up in the ring, we've got Jumpin' Joe Savoldi starting to feel now a little bit more the punishing style of the Libyan. And this is the Libyan at his toughest best. He's not a man to use very many wrestling holds.
The Libyan is a bruiser. He starts wearing you down because he's got Joe outweighed, and he tried that time to lift him, and there you see the punishment that was put on that left arm. And it saved Joe from a body slam, and that certainly made it worthwhile. Now there's a well-executed move.
Nasty neck twist by the Libyan, and it almost brought him a victory. One short, as Jumpin' Joe Savoldi was able to quickly react after feeling the punishment of that neck twist by the Libyan.
Side headlock and that fist coming around to clobber him in the face, and Jumpin' Joe now is hearing the call for the USA, and that proves that people still think New Jersey is part of the United States, because that's where Joe comes from, Newark, New Jersey. And as he is caught in this bear hug, those powerful arms of the Libyan are very, very difficult to withstand.
Jumpin' Joe Savoldi now caught in a bear hug that being put to the squeeze by the Libyan, as the Libyan likes to use this type hold. These holds are not only punishing, they wear down an opponent. We've seen the Libyan do that through the months. He actually wears down his opponent right into submission, and Jumpin' Joe Savoldi has got to find a way out of this hold as quick as he can, because the more punishment he takes, the tougher it's going to be to overcome later in the match.
Using a bear hug should be quite legal for him. He looks a little like a bear, he employs it like a bear, he walks a little like a bear too, and he's as strong as a bear. Maybe he's just as smart.
I was just going to say Jumpin' Joe Savoldi probably will argue he's just as strong as a bear, because you can see the agonizing expression in Jumpin' Joe Savoldi's face, and that time that simultaneous clap across the ears was the move that Savoldi needed.
You know what hurts about that, Pete, is that you trap the air in the ear, and when you hit both ears at the same time, you get a sharp, piercing pain, sometimes coming from both sides and right toward the middle of the head. It's a painful maneuver, and that's why so many people break hold so quickly when it happens.
Libyan tossed Joe Savoldi 2, but no 3, as Jumpin' Joe Savoldi again was able to escape that final and fatal third count as the Libyan was able to toss him to the mat like a sack of potatoes. But look at Joe Savoldi battle back. One
Joe
blow after
coming
another.
up there with plenty of arms flailing and fists flailing too.
That chop.
5 minutes remain.
Chop found its mark as time is running out in this match. Jumping Joe Savoldi, setting the Libyan up and sent him airborne. And that's a big man to send airborne. He did it beautifully as the Libyan came off those ropes.
That's the nastiest way to land. To land right on the small part of your back and get caught. There's one there
Body
too,
block and
that was
almost.
close. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Almost. As Jumpin' Joe Savoldi came so close to pinning the Libyan, and we haven't seen too many people able to do that. Now he's going for the wrap-up. It's a big minute. Two, but now Savoldi reversed it, and one more time. Jumpin' Joe Savoldi able to outmaneuver his opponent and comes away with a victory here at the Sam Houston Coliseum.
What
Jumpin'
an
Joe
uproar.
Savoldi.
What an uproar for Joe Savoldi.
As fans are picking him up and supporting him more and more each match, and they should, because he's proven worthy of their support. We'll be back with more Houston wrestling action in just one moment. Beautiful Missy Hyatt. Missy Hyatt will be here on that Super Sunday, September 21st, right here in the Sam Houston Coliseum, starting at 7 p.m. And the match that wrestling fans are all talking about, one-on-one, Missy Hyatt up against Dark Journey.
Hey, you know what, Dark Journey? I'm not a wrestler, as you can see, but one-on-one, it's going to be you and me, honey. You've wanted it, well, you've got it. I tell you what, tell her to bring her pantyhose, because I'm going to rip her pantyhose right off of her. Johnny's been showing me a few little moves, and I'm just going to show you something about this wrestling business, honey, because there is only one woman in professional wrestling, and that's me. And Johnny, why don't you tell him what you're going to do to that Terry Taylor, because I want the belt. I want the UWF TV belt.
Certainly we're out here looking real good and looking only as we can look, as you added when we started this interview. But next week, the 21st, we're going to be looking just a little bit better, because I'm going to be wearing Mr. Terry Taylor's TV title right here.
For me.
Right here live, the 21st in Sam Houston Coliseum. Mr. Terry Taylor will no longer be the TV champion. That'll make me, what, the #1 contender for what?
The UWF World Belt, and I want that too,
What
Hollywood.
Missy wants more than anything, and I'm certainly going to give Missy everything she wants, as I always do.
So Hollywood John Tatum and beautiful Missy Hyatt. As Missy Hyatt will battle Dark Journey, One Man Gang, and Savannah Jack. In general, you've got what you've been demanding. One Man Gang, a shot at Terry Bam Bam Gordy for the UWF title.
The UWF title is within our reach. But don't think that Terry Gordy's got all the guts. They couldn't ignore him because he's a top man in the UWF and the entire world of wrestling. They couldn't ignore our one-loss record. So let me tell you, listen and listen good. And I hope you listen too, Michael Hayes, because you're around on September 21st. And you stick your nose, punks I've had punks for you for lunchtime. And let me tell you, Bam Bam, or Bim Bam, or whatever your name is, this is going to be the new UWF champion on the big Sunday special, September 21st. And Savannah Jack will have Chavo Guerrero. I don't like your kind, Chavo, and I don't like that dirty, stinking, greasy Mexican food that you eat. So the one-man gang, the Punk Slapper, is going to tell you exactly how it's going to be. Tell them, gang. Hey, justice has been served. I'm getting a title shot, and it's going to count for everything because the general pays me good money, good American money, and I'm coming out the UWF Heavyweight Champion September 21st, a Sunday night, not a better night in a week. The new champion, baby. Now you come on. You come on, Gordy. And you bring your friends with me because I'll show you the difference between men and boys.
Super Sunday in September at the Sam Houston Coliseum, starting at Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Will have to prove how tough he is, how bad it really is on Bad Street when he goes up against big one-man gang.
Yeah, that's right, but first I want to say something. The Dr. Death, Steve Williams, is signed with Michael Hayes for a steel cage match. Well, I'm not going to say too much about that. The reason being, first Steve Williams has to wrestle me, and he has to beat me in a cage match tonight. That remains to be seen. Now, I want to get down to business, and I want to talk about Terry Bam Bam Gordy defending his UWF title match against the one-man gang. One-man gang is without a doubt maybe the largest wrestler in wrestling today. They weigh him in at 450 pounds. I'd say he's more closer to 500 pounds. But Terry Bam Bam Gordy, he ain't no midget himself. He's 300 pounds of twisted steel. He's NFL material, and he is the UWF champion. Okay, gang, me and Michael, we're going to be back watching the match, and we're going to watch Terry Bam Bam Gordy leave the ring with his belt. And Skandow Akbar, we want you to watch too. But that's all we want you to do is watch. If you poke your nose into Terry Gordy's match, you're going to have to deal with Buddy Roberts and Michael Hayes. That's all I've got to say.
Buddy Roberts of the Freebirds speaking on behalf of Terry Bam Bam.
5 pounds. Now stop and think about that a little. He's 6 feet 9 and weighs 465 pounds. And he is bad to the bone, as they say. And remember the way the ratings are structured, and we'll have a look at the inaugural computerized top 10 ratings later in this hour, later in the Universal Wrestling Federation program. Plus coming up in that program will be the big Lumberjack tag, Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death versus the Freebirds in the hour. Plus the mixed tag team match all. And then the next 2 hours here on 39 Gold is going to be a great night of excitement. And of course, we're all pointing towards Sunday, September 21st, Super Sunday, September 21st, with a special early 7 o'clock starting time. We'll talk about that.
I'd like to point out to wrestling fans right away that regardless of how one-man gang makes out in this television title match against Terry Taylor, he will battle Terry Bam Bam Gordy for the UWF heavyweight title on Sunday, September 21st. It's a possibility that one-man gang in the next couple of weeks can capture both titles.
Exactly right. That's a very valid point. The gang's one-loss record and Akbar's shrewd negotiation has created the situation whereby the match has been signed, the one-man gang and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Now, you want to talk about physical one-on-one matchups. That's going to be something. As Terry Taylor is attempting to accept the challenge of the one-man gang, the fans aren't too happy about Terry's decision. But the gang, look how he's 6'9". Intimidation factor here. No doubt about it.
The wrestling fans here in Houston, they know all too well the dangerous style one-man gang, because many of them were eyewitnesses to that brutal attack of one-man gang on Hacksaw Jim Duggan back on May 30th with that historic tournament here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. They've seen this one-man gang. They know what he can do to his opponents.
And the situation between Duggan and the gang's far from over. But the gang has his sights set on, first of all, Terry Taylor and the very much coveted UWF television title. And then on Sunday, September 21st, with a 7 p.m. starting time, the big one, the UWF Championship and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. The thing about that is, you know, starting at 7 o'clock will give the fans that live outside of Houston a great opportunity to come into the city with plenty of time. Starting at 7 o'clock, you'll have the kids home in bed, plenty of time to get up and be in great shape for school on Monday morning. And the box office, or the ticket office, excuse me, at 1919 Caroline, the Houston Wrestling office will open at 9 o'clock Sunday morning, September 21st. For you folks that might want to drive by and get your tickets early, maybe have a little lunch, the office will be open till 4 o'clock, and at that time, Pete, the box office here at the Coliseum will open at 4 o'clock.
Right, and if they're not here able to catch their tickets early in the day, we still encourage you to come down. There will be tickets available at the door. Big, rugged, tough, devastating, dangerous, feared, one-man gang. You need a list of adjectives just to describe somebody that big.
It's just hard to fathom someone that large. You know, I officiate a lot of college and high school football and see a lot of big kids, but I've never seen anybody in athletics that's any bigger as an athlete than the one-man gang. 465, Akbar says he wants him, get this, Akbar told me in the dressing room, Pete, that he wants the gang to be an even 500 pounds to go for the gold. Now, I don't know what kind of training regiment that the gang's going to go through or is going through to gain an extra 35 pounds. But that man at 6'9" and 500, and he's batting up at 465, 500 pounds. Can you imagine the intimidating factor it has for the opponents to sit across the ring and hear your opponent announced at 6'9", 500? Something to think about.
I tell you, General Akbar may be one of the few men who are able to afford to feed one-man gang.
No doubt about it. He could destroy a buffet line, couldn't he? Terry Taylor, who I've always thought, and I still do, as one of the most brilliant minds in pro wrestling. He's a great strategist. His strategic abilities will be severely tested in this matchup because he obviously is grossly outsized, outstrength, and Akbar and Savannah Jack both on the outside and the gang on the inside. There you see the general. Always has something to say, very anti-American. You know, I'm the kind of guy, and I'm sure a lot of folks are, Pete, I know you are. If Akbar doesn't like our country, why don't he just go home? He doesn't like the way we do things, the way our country stands up for what it believes in. Go back to Lebanon and stay there. That's my thoughts on it.
Exactly right. Now, one-man gang driving Terry Taylor's face into that top turnbuckle. Just a few moments ago, we saw a sheer example of brute size advantage when Terry Taylor had him wrapped up in that hammerlock, and one-man gang just used his size to crush him into the turnbuckle. How do you stop a man like that?
I don't know if there is a way. The thing about it is the fact that you can prepare for a lot of normal-sized pro athletes by wrestling other athletes of comparable size. You know, that's one thing they always talk about Oklahoma University's wishbone. Teams say we can't practice against it because we don't have Oklahoma speed, so we can't simulate how it's going to be on Saturday. Well, you can't simulate how it's going to be against a 465-pounder because there's no one else that big to wrestle. It's hard to get that. Now, look at this. Not only is the cable taking the air out of Terry Taylor, but the gang was laying across him, across that steel cable, which is tucked away inside the ropes.
Well, you know, he's not only a big giant, he knows how to use that weight and size.
Exactly.
Just an example of that last move. He wasn't happy just running the throat into the rubber-coated steel cable. He wanted to make sure all 464 pounds was behind the thrust. And now a bear tug, and one-man gang, he's big enough to be called a bear.
He certainly is a big bear, and I'll tell you, I don't think that on Sunday, September 21st, when the one-man gang steps into the ring against Terry Bam Bam Gordy, that you're going to see any fireman's carries or any go-behinds or any takedowns. I think what you're going to see is a back alley brawl between two of the biggest and toughest men in pro wrestling. Now, Terry Gordy, he is all around that 300-pound mark. You know, he's 295, 302. Him and the gang getting into the ring, it's almost, well, it's, get my math going here, it's over 750 pounds. That's like a small battle royal, and there's only going to be two people in the ring.
I'll tell you, that night is going to be known for its variety because in addition to one-man gang and Bam Bam Gordy battling it out for the UWF heavyweight title, you've got two of the most beautiful women in professional wrestling, Missy Hyatt battling beautiful Dark Journey.
One-on-one, and I've said it before, we'll see what they'll be wearing later in the hour. You can bet there'll be a little one-upsmanship on the attire that the ladies wear. Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt, 7 o'clock starting time Sunday, September 21st. One-on-one, no mixed tag, just the girls by themselves to settle it once and for all. And I don't think Missy Hyatt's going to be able to hang too long.
Terry Taylor trying to fight back as he has been under that bear hug for a long, long time. You saw him aim that right fist of his, again, right squarely into the face of one-man gang, and Terry Taylor found a way out of that bear hug. He's also found a way to send the one-man gang back a couple steps, but we saw it was a temporary situation.
Well, Terry is a fighter, and he's a great competitor. But at that point in time, for Terry Taylor to try to trade blows to the one-man gang is futile. It's not sound strategy on Terry's part. You brought up the part earlier, Pete, about the gang knowing how to use his size. Now, folks, take a good look at that shot. There's 400 pounds sitting right in the small of his back. He's got the back arched back and a modified camel clutch. Now, that was a maneuver that Skandow Akbar used many, many years. You can see Akbar's teaching and his philosophy rubbing off on the one-man gang, because Akbar at 250 was a very formidable athlete with a camel clutch. When you double that weight nearly, you can imagine the devastation. I guess that leads to the name of Devastation Incorporated.
Terry Taylor caught in a very bad way as one-man gang continues to apply the pressure. He pulls up on the head. He keeps the weight that lower back, bending that backbone in a direction it wasn't meant to bend. And as Terry Taylor showing his fight determination, he has done that through the years. He has battled all odds, and all he does, Jim, is continue to win, and hold championships.
He certainly does. He's a superstar, and now he's fighting back. You got to give it to Terry Taylor, but the one-man gang with that big, big overhand right.
One-man gang now confidently lays across Terry Taylor. We've got one, we've got two, and we almost had a new TV champion. Just a little bit too cocky. Could have possibly cost him the championship belt.
He does seem a little overconfident right now, the one-man gang. Abdominal stretch. Remember, he's worked on the back. I've not seen the gang use this maneuver, Pete. The abdominal stretch is normally a move that a lot of the smaller guys will use to really cinch that thing in. But the one-man gang, and he's got it perfectly executed.
He knows how to put that extra weight of his to full use in that abdominal stretch. Every time you watch him wrestle, you can't help but be more impressed by his ability to use full advantage of that size and weight of his.
You know, the one-man gang is a young man. He got into the profession, was discovered as a big monster, which he is, but he hasn't even reached his prime. And if he can compete at 500 pounds, and if he can keep learning from Skandow Akbar, he just might well be the most dominant force in professional wrestling in the years to come. Because, as I said, look at the physical barriers that his opponents have to overcome. How do you prepare, as we said, for the one-man gang? And I guess we couldn't see it from our vantage point, but quite obviously he was pulling the tights there to get a little extra leverage, and he doesn't even listen to the official. Tommy Gilbert doing his job, the gang totally disregarding him. Ooh, this could be it for Terry Taylor right here.
He came down across Taylor, and Taylor looking, but he finds that rope as he wasn't able to thrust off the big, powerful one-man gang, and Terry Taylor was able to keep this match alive, therefore keeping his reign as champion a little bit longer.
Well, the one-man gang, if he would have hit that elbow, it would have been all over for Terry Taylor, I've got to think, but Taylor moves out of the way, and Taylor is still fighting this giant.
One-man gang rolling him into the turnbuckle, and a charging Sherman tank as he came running after Taylor. As Taylor, is a good thing he moved, or we may be scraping him off those turnbuckles right now. A good shot, close-up shot of one-man gang, and an even better shot of Terry Taylor. Putting a tattoo right on the face of one-man gang to go with the tattoos on the side of his head. Taylor using every pound, every ounce of strength he can to topple, and he did. He toppled the one-man gang.
Finally went down, the one-man gang, and Terry Taylor with a 5-arm.
And this is the fighting spirit, determination Terry Taylor possesses as he brought this crowd to life. And now he's lowered the boot on Savannah Jack as Taylor, as if he didn't have enough trouble facing one-man gang, now trying to contend with General Skandow Akbar. And he knows how to take care of the General, but he's got to be careful. The odds are just too big.
They're calling for the bell. They've got to get a disqualification, get it done quick here, because Taylor could have his career ended right here. Remember, it's the Gang and Gordy for the title, and the Gang would love this red wrestling of Terry Taylor. He just hit Taylor he's got something wrapped around his hand.
As Taylor retained his title, but right now he is feeling the wrath of General Skandow Akbar's army. Devastation Incorporated, as is General Akbar, one-man gang, and as the wrestlers come to the rescue of Terry Taylor, they're met with Savannah Jack and one-man gang. A tough army, and General Akbar hasn't let up on Terry Taylor at all.
No, they're really punishing Terry Taylor. They're nailing him. But here comes, look, Ted DiBiase's coming to the ring. Gang with that big splash. Taylor's been lacerated. There's a drop kick on the one-man gang for Ted DiBiase. DiBiase's not intimidated by those odds.
And Ted DiBiase coming today to his friend Terry Taylor is finding that he is now outnumbered. As one-man gang lowers the boom on Taylor, Savannah Jack, and both he and General Akbar send DiBiase out of the ring. As General Skandow Akbar, infuriated with the fact that he did not win that TV title.
Taylor's been busted open. I mean, he's been busted open. And Ted DiBiase's got something on his right hand that nobody, and I mean nobody wants a part of, and that's that black glove.
An equalizer for sure.
No doubt about it.
So Ted DiBiase chases one-man gang, General Skandow Akbar and Savannah Jack up the aisle, as we have the winner, Terry Taylor. He retained his TV title, but up in the ring, he took a devastating beating from Devastation Incorporated.
We've got to hand it to Terry Taylor. They're tending to him now. He's been busted open. It looks like very, very deeply. The claret really flowing on Terry Taylor, but you got to hand it to Terry Taylor. What a tremendous athlete. He stood right in there against the one-man gang. It was a phenomenal matchup, but not even Terry Taylor, Ted DiBiase, or anybody else can beat three men. But Terry Taylor, the victor, I'm sure the fans are just as proud of him, if not more so, than they were before this match started.
We'll be back in just one moment.
It has raged and raged for the one-man gang. He wants anybody in Akbar's arsenal, and there he is, the big man from Glens Falls, and it's breaking loose right here. All three men, Akbar, Savannah Jack, and the one-man gang, working on Hacksaw Duggan. Duggan knocks Akbar down. But they're getting the big man off his feet. Duggan is in a tremendously precarious position here. Savannah Jack with that whip, and it's Savannah Jack that's whipping Duggan with that leather strap. Akbar, the one-man gang, all 6'9", 450 pounds. And the crowd coming to its feet, coming by there, you see Dark Journey, and there's the missing link. The link is coming to the ring. The missing link. He hates Akbar and the one-man gang with a vengeance. Look at the head, and the missing link, and Hacksaw Duggan taking over on the Savannah Jack and the one-man gang. Out goes Savannah Jack. Out goes the one-man gang. The missing link and Hacksaw Duggan has cleaned house of the Universal Wrestling Federation. Dark Journey brought the missing link. The Wild Man is in the ring. My name is Jim Ross, along with Michael P.S. Hayes. We'll describe the action, ladies and gentlemen. Here at the head of this program, we have so many exciting things to tell you about, but at the beginning, we do want to welcome aboard the Universal Wrestling Federation Television Network some great new stations. I'm talking about KCOP Channel 13 in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, can you imagine it? The ladies in L.A. get to watch PS and the Freebirds every Saturday.
WTMJ in Milwaukee, WCCO in Minneapolis, also WAKA in Montgomery, Alabama, Channel 13 in
Sweet
Memphis,
home,
Tennessee.
Alabama.
WHBQ in Memphis, along with KMGH, Denver, Colorado, Steve Dr. Death Williams' home, We do thank you all very much for being with us here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. A lot of exciting things, Michael. 2-ring battle royals have been signed in the UWF.
And those are, a battle royal itself is one of the most dangerous matches because you got everybody coming from every way. When you add 2 rings to it, you're doubling the danger. But that's how you walk down bad streets.
Those 2-ring battle royals coming your way. Plus, we'll have information in this hour how you nonprofit groups and organizations can work with the UWF, so get your pencil and paper handy. We'll also see a new representative of Devastation Incorporated today, and that's what we have here, a representative of Devastation Incorporated in a match.
Well, it looks to me like everybody's trying to gang up and get their armies together because they know that they got to reach the top of the mountain. They got to go through the boys from Bad Street. So Akbar, as he surprised us the last 2 weeks with this Savannah Jack, got right in the middle, as we've seen in the opening of the show with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and the missing link came out. And
we'll find out who that representative is.
I just hope they all knock each other off, baby, because we're sitting on top.
In just a little while, we'll have that matchup, plus the first UWF computerized top 10 in this hour. Should be very interesting. Plus a feature from the WFIA Wrestling Fans Convention in Houston, Texas, and a big Lumberjack tag in the hour.
Starring me and Buddy.
Against Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Williams. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the ring in our first match.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first from Michigan, at 2... quit it! Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Stuff and Hot International, very proud to introduce to you from Detroit, Michigan, at 265 pounds, Rick Steiner! And his opponent from Houston, Texas, at 245 pounds, Gary Young. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
Well, this one ought to be quite interesting. Gary Young has definitely proven himself. He's coming along. He's had some wins. He's had some losses. Rick Steiner, ever since added to the Hyatt Hot Stuff Corporation, has just been phenomenal. Good arm drag by Gary Young.
A familiar face, the third man in the ring. There you're seeing referee Ron West.
One of the best in the country, and of course, that's probably why the UWF went out and hired him.
Exactly right. He is an excellent official. We're very glad to have Ron West back on our officiating staff here in the UWF.
Well, you know, he's wrestled for other referee for other organizations, and he probably figured he knew which the best one was. Good leapfrog by Rick Steiner. Drop down again. Leapfrog. Well, he waited on a cross-body block. Good move by Gary Young. Almost had a 3 count. Drop kick him. Didn't quite have effect to knock him down. Went for a head scissors. He got it. Partial head scissors. It's like he's going for a meal. Got Rick Steiner going. 4-time All-American from Michigan. Wrestling champion. He's not got that leg hook. Steiner's too powerful. Too powerful to try to pin without hooking that leg. Good forearm. Shoots him in the turnbuckle. Whoa!
I'm not so sure it didn't hit his head on the post there. Eddie Gilbert very, very animated at ringside. Steiner is so awesomely strong. He just literally manhandled Gary Young right into the corner. I think he may have hit his head on the corner post.
I think he was going to go for a head scissor, but look at Steiner turning on now. He sees he's got the animal wounded. Whoa! What a clothesline.
Exciting action. You'll see action like this in West Texas this week in El Paso, Amarillo, and Lubbock.
He didn't want it. He didn't want the pinfall. You see, this is the difference. This is what Eddie Gilbert has instilled in him, that killer instinct, and he's got to be one of the most improved wrestlers in the country today. Good elbow. See that? Rick Steiner's the championship wrestler from amateur on up. He knows to hook that leg. He doesn't want to pin him now. Gilbert wants punishment. Good vertical suplex. Nope, see? Look at the build on him.
That's a little bit humiliating. He has got a phenomenal physique. I don't know if that's the right advice. If he had the man beat, that's why you're there, to beat him and leave.
Well, I think he's trying to deliver a message that he's not the old Rick Steiner. He's the new Rick Steiner. What's he doing here? His agility is unbelievable for his size. Whoa! Now, there was a mistake. I'm sorry, you were right, Jim Ross. He had him pinned, and he didn't go for it. Could cause him the match. Eddie Gilbert's upset. Good drop kick by Young. He swung for Gilbert. Swung. He ducked twice. Belly to back. 1, 2, 3. Didn't need to hook the leg when he slaps that on you.
Belly to belly suplex. very awesomely displayed by Rick Steiner. And Steiner with another victory here on the UWF, much to the delight of hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. And we'll be back. Tag team action featuring Hollywood John Tatum and Jack Victory. And Missy Hyatt will be at ringside coming up next.
From Kansas City at 256 pounds, Jeff Gaylord.
There comes quite an entourage.
And now entering the ring, accompanying Missy Hyatt, from Hollywood at 270 pounds, Jack Victory. Also from Hollywood, California, 240 pounds, Hollywood John Tatum. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
Well, I don't know how he did it, but he didn't introduce Missy Hyatt. How do you miss her?
Well, I don't know. Maybe the guy's funny. Hey, don't ask me. It's none of my business. I'm not a cop like the rest of you guys. I don't pry into people's business. All I know is here's another...
Your character's to be admired, Michael.
Hey.
You really
you know, my mother gets thank you notes every birthday I have. Every birthday.
What a neighbor. Ladies and gentlemen, tag team action here, and you'll see great action this week in West Texas in El Paso, Amarillo, and Lubbock. Coming Wednesday night, downtown New Orleans Municipal Auditorium.
That means down on Bourbon Street.
Oh, yeah, party time.
Uh-oh, look at Savoldi. He's cooking. And this is starting right away. That's what tag team action is about. This is another part of Hyatt and Hot Stuff. Victory and Tatum. They've really been putting together teamwork, but it looks like Gaylord and Savoldi have also been putting together some teamwork and talking about it. Quick tags there. I can't wait to get to Biloxi either. They love it in Biloxi.
Big and respected record setter in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Outdoors at Harper Stadium, the big rodeo facility there. They have the big PRCA rodeos. That ought to be a great one Saturday night.
Tatum using a barrage of lefts. Don't seem to have too much effect on Gaylord. He's coming back. They're trading punches. Gaylord's got him moving. He's got him rocking. Boom! That's a big man to try to trade punches with him. Look, she doesn't look too happy about it.
Hollywood John is spaghetti-legged, and rightfully so. I don't think he has to do sound strategy, Michael, to box Gaylord.
No, I do not. I think the thing with him, he's a bigger man, is get him down on the mat and bring him down to size. Savoldi's working that arm, using his speed.
We'll have some information later in the hour for you nonprofit groups and organizations. Big benefit events coming up in Blackwell, Oklahoma, along with Pawhuska, Oklahoma, Jeanerette and Jonesboro, Louisiana, Columbia, Mississippi, and Pasadena, Texas. And we do want to thank, as a matter of fact, John May with the Chamber of Commerce in Hope, Arkansas, Norma Grove with the Jones Academy in Hartshorn, Oklahoma, and Bill Suter with the Civil Defense in Concord, Oklahoma, for all their great efforts. They made a lot of money for their nonprofit groups. We appreciate working with those.
There's some great efforts going right now in a tag team match. Double kick to the face.
I wonder why Eddie Gilbert's not at ringside, Michael.
Well, I don't know. I told you, I am not an investigator. I'm not a cop. So you're always wondering things. Good elbow to the top of the head.
I've always been inquisitive.
Yeah, you are inquisitive. In fact, you asked me back in the dressing room, how's the champion doing? He's doing quite well, just like Savoldi is right now, coming back. He successfully defended the UWF belt everywhere he's gone so far in the Far East, and will be back here real soon.
I saw some newsreel footage from one of his recent escapades in
Should have hooked away. Yep. I tell you what.
He destroyed tables, chairs, human beings, security officers.
Hey, that's why they call him Bam Bam. That's why he is the premier single wrestler, the Universal Champion. A good move there. I don't know if most people caught it. Savoldi did a beautiful sunset flip as Tatum was going down. He made the tag to Victory, and that's why Victory was able to come in and keep Savoldi down. Good tag team work.
We'll also have our first computerized top 10 later in the hour. as Joe Savoldi. He's left-handed as he can be. He's a southpaw.
He tagged me Gaylord. Here he comes. And he's throwing some of them big forearms.
With those guns now, he's the San Antonio gunslinger, all USFL selection.
You can imagine, this is almost like a battle royal, and we got so many of them coming up, those two rings. Good flying body press. He's got victory covered. 1, 2, no.
Near fall, victory.
Near fall.
That was close.
He's got him hammered away. Tatum's over in the corner with Savoldi.
Well, it's settling down a little bit.
Well, he's held him into a hold. Tatum with a clothesline.
Right off the top rope, the referee was putting Joe Savoldi out of the ring, and that clothesline off the top rope was devastating. A very impressive victory for Hollywood John Tatum and Jack Victory. Missy Hyatt very pleased with her contingency, and we'll be back. A representative of Devastation Incorporated will be here in just a few moments, and we'll be back after this timeout from the UWF.
At 243 pounds, Jeff Raitz. I have a little announcement I'd like to make. Jim Ross, I suggest you get down here. And you too, Michael Hayes. The boys might have something to say to you. So if we can get Jim Ross down here in the squared circle, let's do it right now.
Ready to go, Michael? We've got to do a little interview here.
That's what they want. That's what they'll
We're
get.
going to earn our money here. And ladies and gentlemen, while Michael Hayes, you're going to with me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll go.
While Michael Hayes and I are going to the ring,
Why wouldn't I?
here's a very special announcement for you non-profit groups and organizations.
Has decided to stay at the podium, but be that as it may. Listen and listen good. There seems to be some misconception about Devastation Incorporated growing weaker and weaker. Quite the contrary. We are growing stronger and stronger every day. As you know, I have the irrepressible, the incomparable one-man gang, the biggest man in wrestling. And I've got Savannah Jack, my procurator of all things, and incidentally, he can wrestle with the best of them. So whether it be the Freebirds, Dr. Dumb Death, Captain Hippie, Jim Duggan, or Cowboy Bill Watts, or Ted DiBiase, or anybody, I'm going to give you fair warning right now that Devastation is #1 in the UWF. And if you don't believe it, just come on in this squared circle right now. Now I'm going to get down to my latest and one of my best discoveries. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present one half of the Long Riders, Wild Bill Irwin, the latest of Devastation Incorporated.
Those comments from General Skandow Akbar, I must say you're really assembling a very diversified army. Wild Bill Irwin on his way to the ring, Savannah Jack and the one-man gang.
A one-man gang, Savannah Jack, Wild Bill Irwin, and I can ask you people in TV land, and you Jim Ross, who can match the talents of Devastation Incorporated? I'll tell you right now, nobody can, because I'm the greatest man in this business.
Irwin's attacked him, and that's the exact reason I didn't come out there. My preparation was cool. There was 3-on-1 when they asked me to come out there. Now we're in 4-on-1. Hey, they got something they want to say. They can say it to all three of our faces. Young Jeff Raitz. I don't know if he knows what he's got himself into. Wild Bill Irwin, accomplished tag team partner with his brother Scott Irwin, was wasting no time. Picked him up and dropped the neck across the throat. They think I'm some kind of fool or something?
Why didn't you come up there?
Give me what?
We were doing our job.
I can't do it. You want me to do everything for you. You want me to do all the interviews, all the color commentary. I win the Announcer of the Year award for you, and you're still complaining. Hey, Mama didn't raise no fool. Like I said, they got something they want to say to Bam Bam, Buddy, or me. They say it to all three of us. We'll meet them anytime.
You didn't like the odds, did you?
Well, would you? Hey, I got something else to go get ready for. That's that Lumberjack match, okay? And this way, with the Lumberjack match, I'll know that they can't jump us from behind like they did last week.
So you're leaving, huh?
Bingo, Einstein.
All right, well, Michael Hayes leaving. And to get ready for the Lumberjack tag that you will see here on the UWF later in the hour. One half of the Long Riders, Wild Bill Irwin. And he is tough. You have seen him on television from coast to coast, always a very, very top competitor. A man very proficient with a bullwhip, very sadistic ring attire, and he has completely annihilated Jeff Raitz and is continuing to do so. Akbar has and is assembling a tremendous arsenal, all centered around the giant one-man gang. The controversial wrestling boots of Wild Bill Irwin placed right to the face of Jeff Raitz, and that surely is all for this young man.
Wild Bill Irwin.
Akbar has assembled quite a group, ladies and gentlemen. Savannah Jack, Wild Bill Irwin, and the one-man gang with General Skandow Akbar. Indeed, it is Devastation. Federation. We're going to have our first computerized UWF Top 10 in a few moments. But before we do, let's look back at the WFIA Wrestling Fans Convention held recently in Houston, Texas. Joel Watts files this report.
The Wrestling Fans International Association chose the Palatial Doubletree Hotel in Houston, Texas as the headquarters for their annual convention, which took place on August 8th, 9th, and 10th. The convention was fun and eventful for everyone involved. Fans from all over the world were there. Many of them are old friends who choose the Fans Convention to be their yearly reunion spot. For such a large group, they're surprisingly close-knit. Many trade wrestling programs, pictures, bulletins, and videotapes, in addition to keeping long-distance lines buzzing with all the latest wrestling news. The highlight of the convention was the awards banquet, which was hosted by the president of the WFIA, Jim Ross, not to be confused with Jim Ross, the UWF commentator. Awards in several different categories were presented at the banquet, beginning with the award for Best Wrestling Magazine, which went to George Neapolitano. Pete Burkholz and Bruce Pritchard of Houston Wrestling received special recognition for their work with the UWF and the WFIA. Jesse Reyes won a beautiful trophy along with the enviable accolade of WFIA Fan of the Year. Jesse's enthusiasm was only surpassed by his patriotism.
It goes to show the United States is the greatest country in the world. Thank you.
The UWF swept the Wrestling Awards category, as fans worldwide overwhelmingly chose the stars of the UWF as their favorites. Jim Ross was chosen Commentator of the Year, and Dark Jody was chosen to be the WFIA Female Personality of the Year. Ted DiBiase won the WFIA People's Choice Award for his commitment to the fans, and the president of the UWF, Bill Watts, received special recognition for outstanding leadership in pro wrestling.
Of course, wrestling, as we all know, is changing rapidly, drastically. I don't know if all the changes are good or not, but it's like riding the wild wind. I guess we're going to sit up there and spur it up and see where we all go, but I know the UWF is breaking out.
Somewhat of a split decision was awarded in the category of Manager of the Year, as the new alliance of Missy Hyatt and Eddie Gilbert collectively won the award and singularly took the credit.
I just want you to know, and you too, that I worked very hard for this. And whatever I do, I work very hard for it, and I will continue to work very hard for it. But I want you to know that I am enjoying this merger very, very much.
The fabulous Freebirds won the award for Outstanding Wrestlers. Terry Gordy was in rare form when he accepted the award for his brothers.
First of all, I'd just like to thank my mother and my father for doing such a good job.
The Fantastics received the well-deserved honor of WFIA Tag Team of the Year. They were presented their award after the banquet in the Sam Houston Coliseum, where the UWF presented a big card in honor of the convention. And finally, the Wrestler of the Year went to WFIA's unanimous favorite, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who also received his award prior to the evening wrestling event. We at UWF would like to thank the WFIA and all the wrestling fans, because you are the backbone of our sport. I'm Joel Watts for the UWF.
We certainly enjoy being in Houston, Texas for the WFIA convention, everybody, and we're going to have a great match coming your way in just a few moments, the Lumberjack tag match featuring Steve Dr. Death Williams and Ted DiBiase taking on the Freebirds. But at this point in time, we're here in the computer room at Mid-South Sports corporate headquarters, and we're going to be talking about the first UWF computerized top 10. Now, the computer is fed some very specific data. That data includes won-loss records. It also includes how the matches were won. If they were won by pinfall, submission, countout, many different ways that the match could be won, that information is fed the computer. Also, the caliber of competition is provided to the computer, plus the type of bout, whether it was a title match, something with some very special stipulations, like a cage match or no disqualification match, and so forth. And anyway, the information has been fed the computer, all this data. We're going to turn the computer on, and we're going to look at the first UWF computerized top 10. In the number 10 position, Freebird Buddy Roberts, Bradstreet, USA. The Freebirds occupy 2 positions in the top 10, Buddy Roberts at number 10. Steve Dr. Death Williams, the number 9 contender for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Dr. Death from Norman, Oklahoma, surprisingly was ranked number 9. The computer based that on Dr. Death's inactivity, and obviously as a result of his injury at the hands of the Freebirds. Chavo Guerrero, the great star from Mexico City, now living in El Paso, Texas. Chavo Guerrero, number 8 in the top 10. Hollywood John Tatum, Hollywood, California, occupying the number 7 position. And the missing link, with Dark Journey as his mentor, as the number 6 contender. Michael Hayes, another representative of the Freebirds, Bradstreet, USA, occupying the number 5 position. Ted DiBiase, Omaha, Nebraska, the number 4 contender for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Hacksaw Jim Duggan is the number 3 contender. Glens Falls, New York native, Hacksaw Duggan at number 3, and the one-man gang at number 2. Controversy here. Many fans think that perhaps Hacksaw Duggan should be the number 2 contender. The computer sees otherwise. One-man gang, the number 2 contender. And finally, the number 1 contender for the UWF Heavyweight Championship, the TV champion from Vero Beach, Florida, Terry Taylor. And that's a look at the first UWF computerized top 10. And we'll be right back with a Lumberjack tag action after this timeout.
Guerrero will be one of many superstars to see action on Super Sunday in September. That's Sunday, September 21st, right here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. Chavo will be facing Savannah Jack. A lot of key matches that night.
Well, you know, it's going to be interesting because Savannah Jack knows a lot of karate. And as you see, I have a lot of karate moves which I put in my wrestling repertoire. But you know what, I'm really, besides that match, I'm going to stop Savannah Jack on his tracks. Baby, chill out. Get out of here. This is Chavo Guerrero's country. But let me tell you, you saw it, Missy, Hyatt against Dark Journey, 1-on-1, 1 against 1. I'm not going to miss that. And then I don't know how they came up with this one. The UWF champion, which is Terry Gordy, against none other than the one-man gang. Now, what's going to happen there, I don't know, but I'm sure going to be here to find out. Respetable público, los invito este domingo, ya que vamos a ver un cartel extraordinario. Su servidor va a estar aquí, voy contra Savannah Jack, pero también lo que me interesa, las mujeres, Missy Hyatt y Dark Journey se van a enfrentar mano a mano sin nadie. Vamos a ver de cuál cuero sale más correa, y también una lucha de rudo contra rudo, el campeón universal de la Federación Universal de Lucha Libre, Terry Gordy, contra the One Man Gang, el hombre montaña, como lo quieran llamar. Los invito a que vengan. And you know, us Mexicans and us Latins, we have a very hot temper. You know how it is, just like anybody else does. But I want to say something right now. I was born in Mexico. I'm proud of Mexico, but I am a United States citizen, and there is no better country than the United States of America, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I announced myself from El Paso, Texas now. Thank you very much, and thank you for supporting me. And every time I spent that 50 grand from that Battle Royal, I think of you people from Houston because you were there when I needed you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Chavo Guerrero, he will see action on Super Sunday in September here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. More matches will be signed the upcoming weeks. Be sure to stay tuned every week and catch all the details of that Super
I tell you what, Pete, things are getting hot and heavy in the UWF. Jack Victory is a man that I've watched. I watched him come into this area, into the UWF. I've watched him progress, and I call him the man without a country. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the man's ability in the ring. He's good. But one week, he's waving the New Zealand flag and following the sheepherders. The next week, he's part of Eddie Gilbert Hot Stuff's International, and then he's dropped that, and he's going off in different directions all the time, whatever suits his pleasure. For Jack Victory, you're looking at Ted DiBiase as a stepping stone to further your career. And this week in the Coliseum, you faced me in a tag team match, and you left the ring running. But it's a lot different than facing me one-on-one. And brother, I am nobody's stepping stone. I'll do all the rest of my talking when the bell rings, but you, my friend, are going to get a wrestling lesson. One more thing, Pete. Dr. Death's next opponent in the cage is going to be Michael Hayes, without a doubt. And in case there's anybody wondering, yes, I will be there watching very, very close.
Sunday, Super Sunday in September 21st here in the Coliseum. Don't you dare.
Take place, and the party involved does not know it's going to happen. But we have long been aware of the fine work that is done by the people who help us, and we want to acknowledge to Mrs. Clare Nelson, who is better known as Doc, and who has helped these wrestlers when they get hurt, who has helped people in this auditorium when they get hurt, who has taken sure to make sure that these men were in shape by examining them before the matches. She's been a tremendously faithful person, and we want to make her an honorary wrestler because of all of the fine things that she has done for us over the years. And I mean it. Thank you very much, Claire. And thank
Boss, I'd just like to say on behalf of all the wrestlers and everybody that Claire's been one heck of a lady. She's been a lady throughout all the rough times that we've been through, and believe me, we go through a lot of rough times, and she's helped us out of those rough times. We'd just like to thank her and dedicate this plaque to her, and thank her very much.
And we hope she enjoys her retirement as much as we have enjoyed having her work with us. Thank you, Claire. Thank you.
From Bad Street to 245 down, Michael T.S. Hayes. Also introducing Buddy Roberts, the fabulous Freebirds.
Lumberjack rules, ladies and gentlemen. You see the wrestlers surrounding the ring as we await the arrival of Steve Dr. Death Williams, B.S. Hayes. I agree. And Ted DiBiase. The crowd comes to their feet. Another near-capacity crowd here in the Tulsa Convention Center. The boys are back in town. And I don't know who the boys are talking about, but there's a couple of men on the way to the ring. Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts preparing to go against Dr. S. D. Williams and Ted DiBiase with Lumberjack rules. You will see it right here on television, and it's breaking down in the ring. Mike Wilson did not get his opportunity to do the introduction of Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase as it's breaking loose here in Tulsa. And there's nowhere to go, Michael Hayes. Lumberjack tag match. The Freebirds against Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase, and DiBiase with a drop kick. Roberts was outside the ring, but he came right back in very rapidly. High elevation by Dr. S. D. Williams. Perhaps the most awesome athlete in all of professional wrestling. Michael Hayes, there's Hollywood John Tatum with a little, he's supposed to throw him back in the ring. No preferential treatment. Buddy Roberts, very ungraciously brought off the ropes by the good doctor. He was number 76 for the Sooners. As they prepare to defend their national championship, the 1986 college football season, Dr. Death soaring to new heights as well in 86. Look at this. He's awesomely strong. Look at this man. There's a stallion. I'm telling you. Again. There's nobody like that man in pro wrestling today. Dr. S.D. Williams and Buddy Roberts would love to tag anybody in the building. Michael Hayes, whoever, just get me out of here. So many exciting things. The big two-ring battle royals for a lot of money coming up. Double football tackle. And Barry Switzer, I'll just bet, would like to have some more eligibility back on Dr. Death. They want to check for the Ted DiBiase's remaining eligibility from West Texas State. Buddy Roberts has been lacerated. Roberts was really hammered by Dr. Death. And now DiBiase has been slowed down by Roberts, and Michael Hayes has got to assert himself here. Flying body press by Ted DiBiase, but he went right for a pinning predicament to a fighting predicament. Right hand, right to the side of the head of Michael P.S. Hayes. The wrong side of town for Michael, and he has nowhere to go. Lumberjack stipulations are working. Nowhere to go for the Freebirds but to stay in the ring and fight. And Ted DiBiase with a big right hand and now a lateral press. Hayes kicks out at 2. And now Hayes with a cheap shot of his own. And look at the vultures gang up on Ted DiBiase. Boy, he'll stay outside long. That's the way it should be, I think. Bulldog headlock by Hayes. Michael Hayes has got that vicious streak. Somewhat deranged with Hayes. He's working on the neck of Ted DiBiase. Remember this crowd, they're coming alive. There you see the fantastic Terry Taylor, Joe Savoldi. Remember, 1981, the Freebirds, those repeated pile drivers on the concrete floor in Atlanta, Georgia. DiBiase has had chronic neck problems since that time. That's what they're working on at this point in time in this battle. Lumberjack rules on the UWF. And the crowd, yes, they're enthusiastic and cultured. As I mentioned, what action you're going to see. If you get the opportunity to see a two-ring battle royal, don't you miss it. As the veteran of the Freebirds, Buddy Roberts, trying to attack Ted DiBiase. Looks like DiBiase's been lacerated as well. Roberts is bleeding from the head. Boy, this is a physical situation. I don't care what kind of stipulations you get. Any of the Freebirds wrestling any combination of Dr. Death, Ted DiBiase, Terry Taylor, whatever it may be, is going to be violent. And that's what we have here, a physical confrontation between two superb teams. Perhaps two of the finest teams, but not the finest teams in professional wrestling today. Hayes and DiBiase has blocked it. DiBiase went for a big roundhouse right, but much to Michael Hayes' credit, Hayes beat him to the punch, and now they're signaling for that pile driver. Remember, it's Lumberjack rule. You hear Dr. Death in the background. DiBiase powers out. A desperation maneuver for Ted DiBiase. The Lumberjacks are enthusiastic surrounding the ring, but they are being completely engulfed by this phenomenal, enthusiastic crowd. And listen to this. It's house call time. Dr. Death has Buddy Roberts trapped, and the fans love Dr. Death.
DiBiase and Williams. Power slam. DiBiase with a perfectly executed power slam on Michael Hayes. Dr. Death manhandling Buddy Roberts. He's got him up. There's a stampede. A partial stampede for Dr. Death. And Roberts is trying to get out of there with his life. Roberts, the veteran, moves out of the way. Dr. Death now going outside, as is Michael Hayes. Leaves DiBiase and Roberts in the ring. But look at the Lumberjack. Gilbert, the Fantastic. It's breaking loose. There's the Fantastic Sting and Gilbert. They're fighting. There's all kinds of action breaking out on the floor. And DiBiase's in there. They've got a belt. They've called for disqualification. They've called. Michael Hayes has got a belt from somewhere. He's got the belt. He had it around DiBiase's neck, but now he's whipping him without letting the belt, but there's Dr. Death. Hayes was trying to enter DiBiase's neck once again with that belt, and then he lashed him. DiBiase's neck once again. DiBiase lacerated, as was Buddy Roberts. It was one heck of a confrontation. The doctor is deadly, Teddy is great, and they are victorious here on the Universal Wrestling Federation by disqualification over the Freebirds. And DiBiase was really lashed by the belt that Michael Hayes was using. And that won't soon be forgotten, I can guarantee you. Remember, next week here on the program, we've got 2 championship matches here next week on the UWF. The UWF tag team titles will be decided right here next week on television. Plus, Terry Taylor will defend the television title. We'll have more action. We've got more matches scheduled. Remember, the Freebirds are disqualified, but they come back to the ring. And we're going to keep it right here because I don't know what's going on. Except the Freebirds are back in the ring. I don't know if we're going to start the match up or what. The Lumberjacks are still at the ring. DiBiase and Hayes are battering fist and fire. We've got athletes all over this convention center. And it is breaking down. There's Eddie Gilbert. And the Fantastics, they're going at it. There's Dr. S.D. Williams. He's having to fight. Buddy Roberts has got the ring hammer. Savannah Jack and Terry Taylor are at it. I can't keep up with the action, but the Lumberjack match apparently is going on. The Freebirds, they're going to disregard the disqualification. That's just fine with DiBiase and Dr. Death. They didn't get enough of it anyway, so this match apparently is continuing. 2 referees in the ring. This is UWF action. If you want unpredictability, you've got it right here. DiBiase and Hayes. The crowd loves it. The Freebirds aren't too ecstatic right now, but the Lumberjack match is continuing. Those referees, I don't know if they've given up or they're going to try to get it back together or what they're going to do. But they've got Roberts tied up. It's like a Texas Tornado Lumberjack match. They're all in the ring. They're this point in time. John Tatum now's got a chair. And now there's Terry Taylor. Fulton just nailed Tatum with a chair and they threw it in the ring. I'd like to know what's going on. And at the referees, they've got enough striped shirts up there to... Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about unpredictable action. You have seen it in this program. It's scheduled to be a Lumberjack tag match. DiBiase and Williams won by disqualification. Now here comes the Dark Journey and the Missing Link. There's more bodies at ringside. People are standing. It is pandemonium. The fans are up in arms. Next week here on the program, 2 title matches right here on the UWF. The TV title, Michael Hayes and Terry Taylor, 1-on-1. You're also going to see the UWF Tag Team Championship decided on this program. Plus, next week right here, Hollywood John Tatum will go against the Missing Link in a ballet for a day match. We'll have a special feature involving Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death. That and so much more. Big events all this week in West Texas, in New Orleans, in Biloxi, and Fort Smith, Arkansas. Great benefits. It is certainly going to be another exciting week, and without a doubt, next week's program is one that you don't want to miss. With 2 title showdowns, the ballet for a day match, the special feature with those 2 men, Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death. It will be another phenomenal hour. The Missing Link will be in that match with Hollywood John Tatum, ballet for a day. The crowd is still standing here in Tulsa. I have never experienced anything quite like this program. It has completely broken down in Tulsa. But that's UWF action. Williams and DiBiase have a massive score to settle with the Freebirds in any kind of match, 1-on-1 or in tags, any stipulations. What a confrontation and what an hour.
You're looking at Pretty Dark Journey, who will see action on that Super Sunday in September right here in Sam Houston Coliseum. You finally get what you wanted, 1-on-1 with Missy Hyatt.
That's right, a 1-on-1. I couldn't be more happier. That means no tagging. That means the Missing Link's going to be on one side and your Hollywood John Tatum on the other, Missy. And I'm going to tell you, stand in my way because you're going down. I don't know how many people out there would like to actually see that little nothing you wear torn off. Well, I just might do that and expose you for what you are.
So, Pretty Dark Journey, issuing a warning out to Missy Hyatt, Super Sunday in September.
One, and you're going down.
Sunday in the Coliseum. You don't want to miss that match here in the Coliseum.
One bird down, 2 to go.
Wrestling fans,
Female, it is not supposed to be interchangeable. But often things happen in matches like this, but I don't expect that either of these men are going to be wrestling these women under any circumstances.
Dark Journey now, egging Missy Hyatt into the ring, and that's the beautiful Missy Hyatt and the beautiful Dark Journey is in the ring, as fans have been waiting for a long time to see this happen, that these 2 hook horns inside the ropes. Hollywood John Tatum now trying to explain the rules to Missy Hyatt. Missy Hyatt really doesn't want to listen to any explanation right now. She would just like to find a way of, well, she sure got in the ring when Dark Journey stepped out.
She sure did. She stepped out there and said, look how brave I am. But
well, Missy
I don't think all is well in the camp of Missy Hyatt and Mr. Tatum.
Well, I don't think Hollywood John Tatum is that excited about getting in the ring against the Missing Link. And one quick look at the Missing Link, you can see why. What an intimidating sight. That powerful body and the fact that he knows that the Missing Link doesn't get hurt. He's got that hard head, and no matter what you come at him with, he keeps charging.
Well, I tell you, the Missing Link is probably the most unorthodox among all the unorthodox wrestlers. He has a natural power in that body of his that is astounding. He's a man who nobody gets close to. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything. He just silently sits in the dressing room and has a green outlook on life.
Well, the missing link now is his opponents know when he grabs the back of the head, that means he's getting into charging position. Hollywood John Tatum doesn't want to face the missing link. And the missing link, what a unique combination the missing link and Dark Journey make.
Well, Dark Journey is looking for her opportunity, but it hasn't come yet. So that puts John Tatum in an awkward position, and now it may be necessary for Missy Hyatt to come in. And here is her nibs Dark Journey, and there is Missy Hyatt, quick to take advantage of what she thinks is an opportunity.
Missy Hyatt better jump on Dark Journey when she's down. She may make the mistake of letting her get up, but Missy Hyatt now loving this moment right now as Dark Journey still trying to get back on her feet after that trip by Hollywood John Tatum. Missy Hyatt now, not very many wrestling holds when those two step in the ring.
No, not with the length of the hair that both of them sport. You can tell that it ought to be made legal for women to pull hair in a match like this.
Well, I think Tommy Gilbert is smart enough not to try to step in between the two of them and prevent the hair pulling, because no one should be brave enough to step in between Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt. And regardless of the outcome of this tag team battle, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday, September 21st, Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt will battle one-on-one. No other partners, just the two of them battling it out. That's the same night that the UWF title will be at stake, with one-man gang up against Terry Bam Bam Gordy. But back in the ring, Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt not missing an opportunity to get a hold of each other's hair or anything else they can grab, as they want to prove to the others and the thousands of fans here, Paul, who is the toughest.
Dark Journey came out of the trauma that hit her in the very first time she stepped into the ring. And this I think shows that she is capable of standing up or knocking down Missy Hyatt, which goes well with what you just said about them meeting one-on-one. I've got to run. Our time is up, but I do want to tell you we'll see you in the Coliseum on September 21st. That's a Sunday night, and we'll be starting at 7 o'clock. So long, everybody.
Houston Wrestling.
Shot as he was checking the shoulders of Savannah Jack when they were down on the mat. Savannah Jack, under the guidance of General Skandow Akbar, as wrestling fans have their eyes on the two of them.
Right. Twisting arm lock for Jeff Gaylord as he now starts to use a little bit of pressure, but he's got to go someplace from there, and the Savannah Jack has got to move in. He got the arm bent, and he didn't take advantage of the opportunity to move in close to Gaylord. Can't make many mistakes like that, because he'll either wind up with a bad arm or he'll be down on his back.
We would like to remind Houston wrestling fans of that big Super Sunday, September 21st, right here in the same Houston Coliseum, starting at 7 p.m. We're getting closer and closer to that tremendous night. Should be one of the biggest nights of 1986. We're hoping you're making your plans to be here. Don't forget the final event inside the steel cage. Steve Dr. Dick Williams up against Freebird Michael Hayes, and that's the traditional and legendary Houston wrestling steel cage that'll be up there for that tremendous showdown.
And the UWF title will be on the line when the one-man gang tries to take it away from Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
In addition to the steel cage battle and the UWF title match, one-on-one, Dark Journey does get an opportunity to battle Missy Hyatt one-on-one inside the ring on Sunday, September 21st.
And the TV title will be up for grabs when Terry Taylor goes in against Hollywood's John Tatum.
So more matches are being signed every weekend. We urge you to make your plans to be there. That's Sunday, Super Sunday in September. 7 p.m., same Houston Coliseum. Still plenty of good seats available, but we do urge you to get your tickets early. Make your plans to be there. One of the biggest nights of 1986.
Sunday at 7. That's a good way to remember it. The action will start at 7 o'clock on the 21st of September.
Savannah Jack.
Yes. Go ahead.
Took advantage of the inexperience of Jeff Gaylord, as he was Jeff Gaylord wasn't as cautious as he should have been, coming that close to the striking distance.
Crotch hold, the lift, and the heavy man to lift, and Savannah Jack was even. equal to it, and he's top man now. There's a 2, but that was all. And Jeff Gaylord was able to summon all of his muscles to work together and to roll him off the top. Savannah Jack.
You can sure see a tremendous change in Savannah Jack the last few weeks, Paul. That extra dimension of General Skandow Akbar, but you can tell his actual style has changed. A much more aggressive, punishing style. You can bet General Akbar has him working out with one-man gang. And that few practice sessions with one-man gang would be enough to turn any wrestler just a little bit meaner and a little bit tougher.
Just survival with a one-man gang, whether it's a training session or a matchup in the arena, that is the best way to prove how tough you are, is to take on a fellow like the one-man gang, or it seems Savannah Jack.
Professional wrestling, like most major sports, the tougher the competition, the better the athlete will excel, that they be pushed to the limits. And we see Savannah Jack, under the new guidance of Akbar, becoming a tougher, more vicious grappler to handle. And talking about tough guys, when Terry Bam Bam Gordy battles one-man gang, something's going to have to give that night here in the Coliseum.
It just looked like Savannah Jack was about to give. He landed hard. He landed like the proverbial ton of bricks. The crotch hold works well again, and Big Jeff gets up there, and this could be it. It's only 2, and 2 is not right.
Well, more than 5 minutes deep in this match between Jeff Gaylord and Savannah Jack, as Jeff Gaylord now trying to slow down the momentum of this match as it was leaning towards Savannah Jack, but this is something that Gaylord's good at doing, is he was able to just muscle him down to the mat.
And he's got that strong arm around Savannah Jack's head, and it's still a good way of punishing him, because you keep that on, you keep it tight, and you've got it right.
And sitting right next to us right now is Bruce Pritchard, the local event coordinator for UWF nonprofit organization shows, and he's got some good and exciting news for organizations.
Well, Pete, it's great to be here. We've got another great card here at the Sam Houston Coliseum, a tremendous crowd here at the Coliseum. I'd like to tell the folks, the phones at the office at 1919 Caroline been ringing off the wall with nonprofit groups wanting us to come to their hometown and their local school. If you'd like us to come to your local school, your hometown, we'll have some information later on in the show how you can have the Universal Wrestling Federation to help you raise those much-needed funds for your organizations. We've got some great events coming up. We have one in Pasadena, Texas, September 19th. Friday night, September 19th at the Convention Center. We'll also be in Beaumont at the Civic Center, September 22nd. The same stars you see right here on the Universal Wrestling Federation, they can be in your hometown.
Thank you very much, Bruce. As to UWF, stretching and reaching out all corners of the Texas markets, and you can be an important part of it. Up in the ring, Tommy Gilbert being distracted by General Akbar, and that could be a tough situation for Jeff Gaylord to handle. As Gilbert trying to get Akbar under control, we saw Gaylord able to keep Savannah Jack off guard with that side headlock.
It looked like he had him flat down on the canvas that time, all the time that the referee was arguing with Skandow Akbar, and that was one of the reasons Skandow Akbar came into the picture. He got up there in order to prevent what looked like a sure pin. But the side headlock is working well for Jeff Gaylord.
Skandow Akbar was a great wrestler in his own time. I say great because he held such titles as the North American Heavyweight title several occasions, and also that he proved his toughness inside the ring. You may not have liked his style for those of you who saw him wrestle, but he's been able to carry that ring savvy and knowledge with him as well into his managerial career.
From our side, we can see what the crowd is hollering about, because holding on to those tights gets a man right around the middle, and of course helps us control him that much more. Gives you that much more leverage, because you've got a handle that you don't have to fight too hard to keep. And as he turns him over here, we've got him literally standing on his shoulders, and Tommy Gilbert has been in that ring too long to be fooled too often, I'll tell you.
He's been staying on his toes, and that's a difficult job. Anytime you have a manager outside the ring, you really need eyes on the back of your head. But Tommy Gilbert doing a good job at staying on top of the action.
In close, Savannah Jack caught in that side headlock, and that boy Gaylord has a powerful pair of arms, and that's exactly what you need. He's got his weight well up on the chest of Savannah Jack. And you know, there are some people who have been in the wrestling game over the years who have made this their favorite hold and have amassed titles and fortunes with it. Ed Strangler Lewis was one of them, and he's a name that lives in wrestling for that very same hold.
Savannah Jack that time unleashed that vicious knee to the midsection, was able to quickly punish Jeff Gaylord, and I don't think Jeff Gaylord has recuperated yet from that knee to the midsection, as he was almost counted down.
He almost counted down is right. He was very, very close. He just barely moved that shoulder as Tommy Gilbert's hand was coming down.
You see Savannah Jack going right at that midsection. He knows that he hurt Jeff Gaylord when he drove that knee in, and you saw those quick punches to the midsection.
Front headlock now. Difference between a front headlock and a side headlock is considerable. They're used for different purposes. You get a good head twist on this one, and you can control a man and control him well. Now the Gaylord fans are trying to get behind him and to make him summon some of that excess energy and youth that he obviously has.
Gaylord tried to send him into turnbuckle. Good reversal by Savannah Jack. 10 minutes deep in this match as Savannah Jack unleashes on Jeff Gaylord as he tries to manhandle the young athlete from San Antonio, Texas.
So Jeff has caught a couple of forearms in the jaw, and you see Savannah Jack as he tries to take complete control of Jeff Gaylord, but using the rope as a garrote is not exactly the best of wrestling skill, I'll tell you. And Jeff is catching it right now, and he's going to have to summon something from somewhere and turn the tide of battle. Here come the fans. They did it before for him. Let's see if they can do it again.
A driving knee lift that time, catching Jeff Gaylord squarely across the face. Later on in this program, wrestling fans, you will see from the Sam Houston Coliseum the Fantastics up against Eddie Gilbert and Sting. Also a TV title match with Terry Taylor against Freebird Michael Hayes. But back up in the ring, we've got Jeff Gaylord now doing what the fans have been screaming for him to do. Crotch hold and a hard slam. As he gets on top, we've got 2, but no 3.
That 3 is surely the deadly point, and sometimes it's almost as though you drove a nail into a man to make him move when he knows that 3 is coming. Well-placed drop kick for Jeff Gaylord. First one he's used here tonight, and he got a 2 out of that too.
But Jeff Gaylord now trying to find the answer, the right combination that's going to bring him the victory as he sent Savannah Jack flying again. You see in the back of your picture, General Skandow Akbar. Jeff Gaylord did a beautiful job of keeping his attention on Savannah Jack.
Yes, I think he almost heard him coming over there. He must have known that Akbar got up there for some reason, and the reason was to get him in trouble. Now we've got the
what a
3 count.
Vicious side kick by Savannah Jack. It came up so quick, but it landed with devastating power. So Savannah Jack literally exploded with that side kick, catching Jeff Gaylord upside the head and coming away with a victory. And General Skandow Akbar is proud of his Savannah Jack. We'll be back for more wrestling action after this important message.
Michael Hayes. You know, that's the most devastating match in professional wrestling. Most hardest match, most dangerous match. A 10-foot cage all the way around that ring. Nobody in, nobody out. Exactly what I want to do. I am the hit man. I got Buddy Roberts. I got rid of him in the cage. Now it's Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes, I don't have to worry about somebody jumping through that cage, coming over the cage. I have Ted DiBiase watching my back. And I know your brother's going to be watching it. We're going to be going down Bad Street. By the time I turn around, you're going to be going to the hospital, pal. And don't ask for Dr. Death, because I sure ain't going to take no stitches out, and I sure ain't going to do no surgery to you. All the surgery's going to be done in that ring, in a steel cage.
Sunday special. I don't care if it's Monday or Thursday. It's special because the original punk slapper is going to get his justice.
Back on May 30th in Houston, it was a one-man gang that should have been UWF champion. You know it, too. Listen to that demented mind of yours, Gordy. And you, Big Mouth Hayes, I used to have punks for you like you for banana pudding. Understand how it is? Well, I can tell you on the Sunday special that the one-man gang is going to do you in. Bim Bam or whatever they call you. Because you're a paper champion. As far as I'm concerned, none of you can walk down Halstead Street.
Well, you know, Junior, I'm looking at my watch right now. Time's ticking away, Terry Gordy. It's ticking away. There were 2 seconds. And in Houston, Texas, I set you up, boy. On May the 30th, I chose you. I chose you to be the champion because I know I can beat you. And let me tell you something, Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts. You come down and stick your nose in there, and we can finish some business with you. But time's ticking away, Terry Gordy. Houston, Texas, Sunday night special. I'm going to be the new Universal Champion because I set you up, boy. I chose you. I chose you because I can beat you any day of the week.
And I want you to remember on May the 30th what happened. Listen and listen good, Bim Bam.
Because this is going to come to an end, and you, Big Mouth Hayes, like I said, I had punks for you for dinner a lot of times. So don't step out of line.
Am I right?
Yeah, boss.
That's
the
right.
time's ticking.
The latest and one of my best discoveries, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present one half of the Long Riders, Wild Bill Irwin, the latest of Devastation Incorporated.
Those comments from General Skandow Akbar, I must say you're really assembling a very diversified army. Wild Bill Irwin on his way to the ring, Savannah Jack in the one-man gang.
A one-man gang, Savannah Jack, Wild Bill Irwin, and I can ask you people in TV land, and you, Jim Ross, who can match the talents of Devastation Incorporated? I'll tell you right now, nobody can, because I'm the greatest man in this business.
Austin, along with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, we will describe the action, ladies and gentlemen, in this hour. It's going to be a great one, big guy. We've got some of the biggest matches that we've had in quite some time, and I do want to say that I'm glad you took time to be with us before the big Oriental Tour coming up for you in a few weeks.
Well, that's right, Jim Ross. You know, Michael B.S. Hayes is out here talking about Terry Gordy's going on a big overseas tournament that's going to be gone for a while. Well, he's not the only guy going somewhere. Old Hacksaw Jim Duggan's going to go over to Japan, and I'm going to keep my eye open for old Big Bam Bam over there also, Jim.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to say hello to our great fans, new fans in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, listening to WTMJ, also watching us in Minneapolis on WCCO, Channel 13 in Los Angeles, California, KCOP. Would also like to welcome along the folks in Memphis on WHBQ, in Denver, Colorado on KMGH.
I got a special request from Steve Dr. Death Williams to say hello to Ma in Denver.
And she, I hope, well, Mrs. Williams is certainly enjoying the program, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of things to talk about. Very quickly, Devastation Incorporated with us here today. 2 championship matches, UWF Tag Team titles plus the television title, Terry Taylor against Michael Hayes. I know that you had a very special day a few weeks back on your vacation. I was a little worried about you until I found out where you were going.
Well, that's right, Jim Ross. I went home to visit my dad. Of course, he's chief of police up there in Glens Falls, New York, and he took me to the Chiefs Convention. Of course, the first thing when I walked through the door, they searched me. They weren't too sure what I was doing there, but I had a good time, got a chance to meet a lot of nice people.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll tell you more about some exciting things like the big 2-ring battle royals, but right now, let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first from Havana, Cuba, at 235 pounds, Gustavo Mendoza. His opponent from Houston, Texas, to 245 pounds, Gary Young. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
As I said, ladies and gentlemen, here today we'll have 2 championship matches. TV title, Michael Hayes versus Terry Taylor. The Fantastics go against Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert Sting for the held-up UWF Tag Team titles. And the Valet for a Day match will be in this hour. The Missing Link versus Hollywood John Tatum.
That'll be more than interesting. Right here, though, Jimbo, you see these 2 guys, you got to give them a lot of credit. They're starting their way up the ladder right here in UWF. Both of them are go-getters. This is Gary Young, good headlock there.
Gary Young, a native of Houston, Texas. A young man that has had his share of ups and downs in professional wrestling, but I think really in the last few weeks we've seen his career on the upswing. I think he's getting into the groove. Gustavo Mendoza, another tough man here on the UWF.
He's been here for a while. Jimmy's done a good job, I guess you could say, because it's tough to stay around the UWF for any length of time.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this week in the UWF, big action. Sunday afternoon in the Myriad in Oklahoma City. The UWF tapings this Sunday night in Tulsa, the Convention Center. Big events in Monroe and Shreveport, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, Lake Charles, Louisiana, and Baton Rouge, all coming up. Big events. We hope that you'll be with us.
UWF on tour. There's nothing like it in the world.
We're all excited about the big Tulsa State Fair event on Friday night, September 26th.
I enjoy those fairs, Jim.
You'll be on the midway after the matches, and remember...
Of course I will.
We're going to be at the Tulsa State Fair on September 26th and the Arkansas State Fair in Little Rock on October the 30th. Your admission to both those events entitles you to free admission to the fair. I know a lot of the wrestlers will be on the midway after the matches, so that should be a fun night for everybody.
That's Gary Young working on that arm there. That's real. There's a nice move there. Get him down off his feet. That's always important. Get a man off his feet.
You know, Jimbo, we get a lot of mail from down in the territory, your old alma mater, Dallas-Fort Worth. We'll be back in the Metroplex before the end of '86 with another big event.
What a great show it was down there last time, Jim. I know you were there, and there was excitement from the top of the car to the bottom. And of course, it was great for old Hacksaw to get back around the SMU territory.
Also got a special event in Houston on Sunday, September 21st, as Gustavo Mendoza.
Took a little shortcut there, Jim.
He sure did, shortcut.
Now, this was pro wrestling. You got to do whatever you have to do to come out on top.
Double chop by Gustavo Mendoza, and Gary Young now is in trouble. You know, we had that announcement last week about the nonprofit groups working with the UWF. There's some great fundraisers coming up tonight in Blackwell, Oklahoma, also in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, coming up on Monday night. Jeanerette, Louisiana, Jonesville, Louisiana, Columbia, Mississippi, Richton, Mississippi, Bowie, Texas, Slidell, Louisiana, Opelousas, Louisiana, and Pasadena, Texas. We'll talk more about those benefit events in the hour.
He's looking for the pin there, but he didn't hook a leg. He didn't grapevine the leg.
Pretty nonchalant there, Jim, on his cover, it seemed like.
A little overconfidence, a little complacency. And you see Gary Young, he's a fighter. He's not going to quit.
Mendoza went to the corner, but Young was not there. Gary Young has got him rolled up. Let's see if he can hold him. 1, 2, and 3.
Nice move, nice move.
Very good move by Gary Young.
And Ronnie West back in the territory, one of the premier referees in the wrestling today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. Devastation Incorporated will be with us. The one-man gang and Wild Bill Irwin in tag team action coming up next.
The 56 pounds from Kansas City, Jeff Gaylord. And from Dallas at 243 pounds, Jeff Raitz.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you hear the slight silence here as General Skandow Akbar walks by our vantage point. One-man game.
If I want any stuff out of him, I'll squeeze his head, Akbar. You know, Jim, I told the people here at Mid-South, UWF, that I'm going to keep my composure. I'm going to sit up here and behave myself. And even though I don't have my fancy Dan monkey suit on, I'm dressed the way I feel comfortable. I gave my word I'm going to sit up here and not interfere, so enough said.
You got your new sweatpants on. I think you look quite fitting there.
I feel very comfortable, Jim, and that's what's important.
That's what matters. I agree. I'm envious.
Introducing the General Skandow Akbar from Chicago with 465 pounds, the one-man gang. Also introducing at 279 pounds, Wild Bill Irwin. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you see one half of the Long Riders, Wild Bill Irwin, the newest acquisition to Devastation Incorporated, along with the one-man gang who had an announced weight of 465, Jim. And Akbar has told me that he wants the gang to weigh an even 500 pounds. Now that's 6'9", 500 pounds. That's got to be something to think about, my friend.
Yeah, and I'm done thinking about it. I don't have a whole lot to say here about one-man gang on TV. They'll pull me right off the camera here.
Wild Bill Irwin in there against Big Jeff Gaylord.
got to give both Jets credit here. They're going up against an established team. You got Skandow Akbar running around the ring, Savannah Jack sticking his nose in, but these guys are going after it because you can't come out ahead by sitting in the background, not in the UWF.
Well, Akbar has got probably the most diversified team that I have seen him. He usually follows the MO of getting the big brawlers like the one-man gang, who is the biggest brawler of them all. But now he's got Wild Bill Irwin, who can brawl or can wrestle, and he has Savannah Jack with those savate kicks, those karate kicks, and there's like...
That's a diversified group, Jimbo.
Yeah,
that's a big word. I got it right out of SMU. It's a diversified group, and that's for sure.
Look at this. Jeff Raitz and the gang just effortlessly carrying Jeff Raitz around the ring.
He's a monster of a man, that gang, and I can tell you from experience. But the thing is, you never quit. Never say die. Just keep plugging. You can come out on top. Especially with all the help from the fans, all the support from the fans. Especially when that old sweat and blood's in your eyes and you can't see what's going on. You might want to give up, but you hear them folks call for you to keep fighting. Whoa!
The tag was made and the 747, and that's it. I'll tell you, that is devastation.
Quick work there, quick work.
465 pounds, the one-man gang, and Wild Bill Irwin the victory. The purveyor, as Akbar calls him, Savannah Jack in the ring. I don't quite know what purveyor means, but don't adjust your screen ratings, your sets. That's just Savannah Jack's shirt. And we'll be back. The UWF Tag Team Championship will be on the line. The Fantastics take on Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Steen. That match for the title is coming up next. Back to the Universal Wrestling Federation. Jim Ross back for you along with Hacksaw Jim Duggan as we prepare for the UWF Tag Team Championship bout. The championships are being held up at this point in time. Eddie Gilbert and Sting will be going against the Fantastics in a few moments. A lot of exciting action this Sunday in Oklahoma City, Sunday afternoon.
At 235 pounds, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Also introducing 265 pounds from every man's nightmare, Sting.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen,
also in their corner, Hollywood John Tatum and Missy Hyatt.
Eddie took the words right out of my mouth. There they are, and I don't like the shape of things to come. The decibel level will increase drastically here in the Tulsa Convention Center because we got capacity here.
There's some real sharp dressed men right there.
They'll be coming in our camera view momentarily. There they are, Bobby Fogan, his partner Tommy Rogers. They'll be in Oklahoma City Sunday afternoon at 2 in the Myriad. Tulsa television taping tomorrow night, Convention Center in Tulsa. Spectacular events in Monroe, Louisiana, and Shreveport, Louisiana, in Jackson, Mississippi, the Coliseum, Lake Charles, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, all through the South this coming week. Big benefit events tonight in Blackwell, also Monday night in Pawhuska, coming to Jeanerette, Louisiana, and Jonesville, Louisiana this week, also to Columbia, Mississippi, and Richmond, Mississippi, down in Bowie, Texas, Slidell, Louisiana, Opelousas, Louisiana, Pasadena, Texas. It's all over, and in 87, the World Tour will kick off in 87, and that's when we'll be in Milwaukee, in Minneapolis, in Los Angeles, and in Denver, and in all points in between, and I can't wait to travel this land of ours, Hack.
That's right, Jimbo. They're watching us on TV. You folks out there seeing us on TV, you're going to be able to see us in the arenas real soon. If you think it's great, exciting on the tube, you haven't seen nothing yet, tough guy.
You know, it's great. Other wrestling programs will come on. They're going to knock every wrestling show on television. We're not here to knock anybody. We're here to tell you that we're looking forward to coming to your city to bring you the most exciting brand of professional wrestling, in our opinion, in the country today. But the bottom line is that the fans will be the judge, and that's the way it should be. The fans should judge that.
Well, you can just look at the talent here in the UWF. Fantastic. Freebirds, Terry Taylor, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Akbar's Army. You name them, we got them.
Fantastic. Their patented ZZ Top music. They're friends with Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, Dusty Hill. They've done some partying with the boys from Texas.
Down there in Houston, Texas.
Oh, they tore it down there with ZZ Top. Missing link in Hollywood, John Tatum, coming up in a few minutes. Ballet for a day, plus TV title, Terry Taylor, Michael Hayes. This is the hour to be with us.
And from the City of Angels, with a combined weight of 420 pounds, the Fantastic. This match for the UWF Tag Team title, one fall or television time.
No more hugging and kissing now, Jimbo. Once they step in the ring, they take off those fancy Dan duds. They're all business.
You know, Hack, you're going to be involved in a big match later on tonight that will not be shown on television. That's another great reason for the fans here in Tulsa, for example, to be with us tomorrow night. They'll see a lot of things here that they won't get to see on television. But this match is going to start with enough time that we hope to get a decision before this hour is up. A lot of the fans have written us about, well, you know, some of the great matches go off the air. Hey, we put as much as we can in every hour, and sometimes we just run out of time. We've got 60 minutes. That's it.
Nothing but excitement for those 60 minutes. These guys are ready to tear it up right now. You're talking about the U.S. Tag Team titles. We're talking about the most prestigious tag team titles in the world. And these guys are going to go after it, tooth and nail. My kind of match here, baby. Mix it up.
Raitz and left by Gilbert and Fulton getting the better of the two men.
Pick them off. You see him standing around, pick them off.
Quick lateral press.
Almost a quick count.
Interesting point here. In the last few confrontations, we've seen Tommy Gilbert, the father of Eddie Gilbert, as the official. This time we've got Carl Fergie in there, who's another very accomplished third man in the ring and the fifth man in this situation.
Right, nothing but the best. Not only through the wrestling, but nice sunset flip there. They're going right after a fall, real quick. They're not looking for a lot of punishment. They want to win. They want the titles back.
Here comes the big hammer of the Sting Hot Stuff duo. Remember, Missy Hyatt and John Tatum are both at ringside as Sting poses, and there's no mirrors.
A powerful man there, but there's no mirrors. This isn't a gym. This is a wrestling ring.
Look at Missy and John. I'd like to be able to hear that. Boy, some of the conversations they go through is
no telling what they'd be talking about out there.
Look at John. John's so possessive of Missy. And the Fantastics, especially Tommy Rogers, so possessive of the arm of Sting in this UWF Championship matchup. Special feature that I did just a few days ago with Ted DiBiase coming up. I enjoyed doing that with Ted. I think you'll be very interested to hear some of the comments that he has to make about his and Dr. Ness situation with the Freebirds.
And Teddy does well over in Japan also.
You're going to be in Japan. Terry Gordy's there now to defend the UWF title. Well, I'll tell you, Gordy, we've seen some documentation of his work there. He's devastated. As you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And that was a devastating hip lock. Oh. And that drop kick right for the knee, and there's Sting on the bottom rope. The Fantastics. They are indeed. They live up to their name. They are truly fantastic.
They're not going to be worried about this man's size. They're just going to go right after him.
I'll tell you, you got a tremendous rivalry anytime these four men get in the ring. And this one's for all the marbles. This is the fourth quarter.
You hear those fans coming, and I tell you, when you're down on the mat like that, when you've got that sweat and blood in your eyes and it's burning and your lungs are busting, you just may want to quit. You can hear them fans bubbling up. That's when you start coming up. Come on, Bobby.
It's really hard for one official to maintain any semblance of law and order, so to speak.
Well, this is professional wrestling. This is the real world. This is no Sunday school.
Kick out. The stakes are supremely high in this encounter. As the tag was made, Sting has tagged Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, who really took a cheap shot on Bobby Fulton.
They're tagging in and out good. You got to give Gilbert and Sting credit. Of course, Sting's come a long way since he's been here.
Near fall. It's close. Oh!
Nice kick.
Oh, that came from left field. The crowd here is rabid. Such a huge crowd. They're so enthusiastic. And that's why I say it every week, and I sincerely mean it. Bring the family to UWF action in your area. There is nothing like it, and the tag has been made.
Boom.
Tommy Rogers one of the most explosive young men in professional wrestling, and now the Fantastics working over Sting and Gilbert. The title's on the line. Oh!
Oh, referee's down.
He got kicked right in the face.
I gave my word earlier, Jim Ross, and I'm going to sit right here next to you. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, they're on the floor all the way over the top. Gilbert and Rogers in the ring. Beautiful maneuver by Eddie Gilbert. Now what's Tatum's over there. Let's keep our eye on this situation. There's Missy. What's Tatum do? He needs to be out of the ring. I don't know what they're saying. A lot of coaching going on.
Well, I'm giving a little answer, Jimbo.
Very unfair advantage, I think, by having the ringside. They're trying to clothesline. High body press by Rogers. He's got him wrapped up for the 1, 2, 3, but the referee is still out. Tatum came right off the top on Tommy Rogers. But darn dirty, the missing link.
They just went by us. They just went by us.
There's the missing link, and he's going to the top. The link, right to the kidneys with that head. Darn Journey is, well, Missy Hyatt has completely left the area where Dark Journey was. This thing is really broken down. There's Tatum. Tatum and the link will battle later in the hour. They're calling for the disqualification. They're calling, there's too many extra people in the ring. It's a double disqualification. They've got to get this thing settled in some stipulations. They've got to get it settled here, Hack. Missy Hyatt doesn't want Dark Journey to get her hands on her.
Still got to hold that first, Jim.
They're calling for order. It's broken down.
Dark Journey's getting...
There's that to the crowd. She's got a handful of blonde hair. The referee's pulling her off. Hollywood John Tatum out of the floor.
He flew out of the ring there.
Boy, it is broken loose. They've got to get some kind of stipulations to get this tag team situation settled. And we'll be back. We've got more right after this timeout.
Right.
White glove, looking sharp, looking for love. They come running up as fast as they can. 'Cause every girl crazy about a sharpness man.
Have you been? You naturally say Hot Stuff International. When I say Hot Stuff International, PD, I am talking about none other than Sting and Rick Steiner, because on Halloween night, right in the Sam Houston Coliseum, they have got their hands full, we know, with Terry Taylor and Iceman King Parsons. But right now, what I'd like to do, PD, is go ahead and congratulate my boys on becoming the new UWF Tag Team Champions. Now, I know you think I'm being a little confident, but I know after they beat Iceman King Parsons and Terry Taylor in the Sam Houston Coliseum, then they're going to beat probably Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Ted DiBiase, and then finally they're going to win the Tag Team Championship belts from the Fantastics. Now, the match that everybody has been talking about, everybody has been waiting for, I even heard you talking about this a while ago, the match between, and when I say this name, I know it's probably going to make you go, like this. When I say, when it's finally going to be face to face, man to mouse, Hollywood John Tatum. Finally, Tatum, it's me and you, nose to nose in the Sam Houston Coliseum. Now, you can come out here and talk all you want. You can come out here and call me names. You can come out here and say anything you want to. That sticks and stones may break my bones, but John Tatum, your words will never hurt Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Right. You come on down. You come on down to the Sam Houston Coliseum, and you tell everybody what kind of big man you really are, and how you are Missy Hyatt's pride and joy. But I think finally everybody in Houston, Texas knows. You know it, PD. Rick Steiner and Sting know it. And above all, I know it, that Missy Hyatt is mine, all mine, John Tatum. And you can't get her. I'm going to keep her. And finally, it's going to be Halloween night, John Tatum. It's trick or treat. And if you want to see my treat, you come on down, brother. Halloween night at the Sam Houston Coliseum. I'm going to give it to you good.
A Halloween spectacular in the Sam Houston Coliseum on Friday, October 31st. That's Halloween. What a tremendous night for family entertainment, safe entertainment for the kids.
Those tickets will go fast. $6 for adults and general admission. And it's a safe Halloween
for the kids. That's the main thing. It's not safe for Ted DiBiase right now, however, Pete.
But what a unique combination on that Halloween Spectacular, Jim. Where else in the city of Houston can you take the kids and be treated to so many events on top of a tremendous night of wrestling action? So you have entertainment for the kids, entertainment for the adults. The entire family can get it and celebrate Halloween together.
I hope that the fans come out in costume, dressed like their favorite UWF star. We may have a few Missy Hyatt lookalikes. We may have some Dark Journey folks. We may have some that come out like the Missing Link or Hacksaw Duggan or Michael Hayes or any of them. I hope that we see a lot of folks in costume and see how close they can resemble the stars to the UWF. It's going to be a lot of fun. As you said, a safe Halloween for all the kids. That's what we're looking for. And $3 for your kids in general admission on Halloween night. Oh, my gosh, what a clothesline.
Terry Bam Bam Gordy exploded with that vicious clothesline, and it sent DiBiase crashing to the mat as Carl Fergie looking closely to make sure DiBiase is going to be even able to continue the match. I tell you that Bam Bam Gordy, he just explodes. He moves sometimes deliberately around the ring, and all of a sudden, the cat-like quickness, he can explode on his opponents. Now he's ripping DiBiase's face across that steel fence, and this is where it gets tough, very tough.
Well, the fence is not going to give. The fence is a very violent thing to have around the ring. And Ted DiBiase's feeling it now, and he feels it in that neck. Ted DiBiase's neck will never be 100%. He'll be the first to admit that. And the Freebirds know that as well.
I think it's important to remind fans this is a one-fall match, as DiBiase was able to reverse it, and that atomic drop on the tailbone of Gordy sent him to the mat. But this is a one-fall battle inside the steel cage. Anything can happen, and Gordy's hurt. You can see him grabbing the back of his leg as it looks like DiBiase was able to land with that shattering atomic drop.
Gordy may have twisted his knee when he went down. Now, if he does, it's going to set Ted DiBiase up, ideally for the figure 4 leg lock. DiBiase's a master at it. Gordy's lost a lot of blood. The heavyweight title of the universe is on the line right here on 39 Gold. And now DiBiase, he knows, he can sense what is going. He knows Gordy is hurt. He saw him holding his knee, and look what he's doing right for the figure 4. It's a perfect maneuver and a perfect opportunity for Ted DiBiase, but he went back on that neck. This is a classic matchup. I don't care what wrestling program you want to watch on television. And as I've said many times, Lord knows there's plenty of them on TV, but this is why that the wrestling right here on 39 Gold is by far and away the #1 rated wrestling show in Houston, without any comparison. You're watching right here, and right there, that man and other top athletes in UWF are white. Look at Gordy. It's hard to say how much blood he has lost. He's still he's fighting back. He's got a bad wheel. He knows this is the match of his life. At this point in time, this is the match. He's got to hold on to the title.
Terry Bam Bam Gordy clearly showing the signs and effect of a brutal steel cage battle. And he's going for the pile driver, and DiBiase was able to stop the reversal. And if that pile driver would have worked, if Gordy was able to follow through, this match could have been history.
I think so, but I think just as it has happened, though, it could be very much the turning point. This could be the turning point right here. Oh. And DiBiase got him with a pile driver. DiBiase has nailed Bam Bam, and Bam Bam is motionless.